y'all, I'm back again with my persuasive speech. I'm going to start out with my thesis statement. In my thesis statement, I wrote that although certain video games, music, and movies could possibly be educational, I think that the more violent video games, music, and movies make people think that things shown in these games, movies, and what is said in the music are able to pass in everyday life, which in most cases is very untrue. I have several points to touch on throughout the video, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. My first point is that when people hear violent music, something like that's like screaming or has a lot of cuss words, maybe like rap music for instance, they feel like they're able to talk like this or do these types of things that are said in the music in everyday life and think that it's okay, which it's not. Also, I wrote down that when people hear really violent music, like sometimes at a concert or in a movie, you'll see like a guitarist like smash their guitar, and I think that is kind of what I'm trying to get at with the violence in the music and the movies and everything. So my next point is about The Purge. A couple years ago when the movie originally came out, there were several instances where people said that they wanted to actually do the purge in real life, which in my opinion is completely insane. I don't know why anybody would really want to do that. But anyways, actually not too long ago in Louisville, Kentucky, they tried to have their own purge, and I remember sitting around a radio picking up the stations in Louisville with my family and friends one night, and like there was a lot of police reports about people like just doing all these crimes. It was just crazy. So I think that violence is definitely promoted in a movie like that to where people think that it's okay. And my next point was about school shootings or, movie theater shootings. For instance, Columbine. Many people know that 2 high schoolers went in and just decided one day that they were going to start shooting at their school, and many people died because of that, and it was actually discovered that they were huge online gamers and they loved just the violence in the games, and I believe that definitely promoted the violence as to why Columbine happened. So violence again there in the movies. I mean in video games is what I meant, not movies. Also things like Grand Theft Auto, people think that type of violence of like hitting and killing people is okay, which it's not. And also like theft, like stealing cars and stealing everything. That game promotes huge amount of violence. Also on the radio yesterday, or it may have been a couple days ago, but I heard it again yesterday, that a 16-year-old boy had went into a locker room and just started stabbing people. They're not sure what promoted it because the kid was a straight A student. He was on the honor roll, so I mean, was it because of video games or a movie that he watched that promoted the violence? And my final point for this speech is what promotes like bullies and stuff. I think that bullies feel like they can pick on others and do other things because it's shown in movies, and people just kind of throw it around in movies like it's an okay thing to do, which it isn't, and it causes, a lot of people in depression, a lot of suicides in very young children. So overall, to cover my thesis again, I think that violence in video games, in movies, in music, just violence that you see in everyday life is definitely not okay, because it promotes violence to where these people and children and kids, teenagers, think that they can do these types of things every day, and it's definitely not something that should be happening. So that is my persuasive speech, and I hope that I persuaded you all to believe the same, which shouldn't be hard, because definitely violence is not needed, and those types of things in movies and such, even though it gives people a thrill to watch them, it's just not something that people should think is okay.